Support for the Roundup comes from Symphony 3, allowing councils to connect their systems securely, to automate their data flows and to monitor performance in real time. And right now, councils are lining up for their own emergency dashboard, like the one that Symphony 3 has created for the city of Greater Bendigo. The dashboard helps keep the community safe and prepared before, during and after emergencies. It pulls together live data, including weather data, traffic data, emergency incidents, unplanned and planned disruptions, news and social media feeds. Visit www.symphony3.com to learn how you can get an emergency dashboard for your community. Coming up on the Roundup today, more pressure on Wyndham's mayor. Moyne councillors make a difficult decision. Historic saleyards to be decommissioned in Camperdown. A witness breaks down on the stand at the Parramatta ICAC Inquiry. Council's Rex Airline debt bailed out by the government. A bid to increase short-stay accommodation rates fails in Hobart. And a mayoral exodus in South Australia as one departing mayor takes aim at governments and at peak bodies. That's all ahead, plus much more on Australia's #1 local government news podcast. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy, back with more from across Australia and beyond. Brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government. With support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and from Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. Thank you for listening wherever you are in Australia or around the world, starting with the latest out of Victoria. And pressure is mounting on the Victorian state government to amend the Local Government Act, giving councillors the power to remove a sitting mayor. It follows the ongoing refusal of Wyndham Mayor Preet Singh to stand down after losing a unanimous vote of no confidence. At a council meeting yesterday, the first with new attendance registration rules in place for the public, only 2 councillors plus the mayor attended the meeting in person. All other councillors attended the meeting remotely. The Star Weekly reported that while the state has appointed monitors to the council, advocates say a legislative change is urgently needed to close the legal loophole. At Moyne Shire Council in the state's southwest, the council has unanimously voted to decommission and demolish the Belfast Aquatics Community Pool in Port Fairy. The decision follows an independent assessment revealing widespread structural deterioration, a failing electrical network and a major pool leak, with short-term repair costs estimated at up to $6 million. ABC News reported that councillors cited long-term financial sustainability for the decision despite significant community opposition. And the Standard reported that councillors spoke about the decision being heavy and sad, telling of division in the community over the issue and, in some cases, abuse, intimidation, threats and personal attacks towards councillors. Demolition works are expected to begin in a few months. Macedon Ranges Shire Council has renewed its push to remove a development plan overlay in Lancefield that has stalled residential growth for 6 years. The Star Weekly reported that Mayor Kate Kendall has written to the Planning Minister seeking the removal of the 150-acre overlay, which requires coordinated planning across 22 separate landowners. The council argues the overlay has created an unfair impasse, leaving landowners unable to subdivide or build. The state government has confirmed the request is under consideration. The fate of the historic Camperdown saleyards, which have sat empty for nearly 2 years, has been determined by Corangamite Shire Council. Council officers had recommended decommissioning the site and selling off its infrastructure through an expression of interest process. At a meeting of the council yesterday, it was decided unanimously to proceed with the decommissioning, with options for the future long-term use of the site to be subject to a future report to the council. Wodonga Council has voted 6-1 against funding further investigations into a proposed $700,000 signalised pedestrian crossing on Anzac Parade. The Border Mail reported that councillors cited financial responsibility and future traffic management at the Bandiana Link Road intersection as key factors in their decision. noting a weekday average of just 68 pedestrian movements. Alternative crossings in higher priority areas will be considered instead. The City of Casey has called on federal and state governments to implement stricter gambling reforms following the Commonwealth's response to a landmark inquiry. The Dandenong Star-Journal reported that the federal package restricts sports betting ads during live broadcasts, but falls short of the full advertising ban recommended by reformers. Casey Council, which saw electronic gaming machine losses exceed $166 million in the last financial year, is urging a comprehensive phase-out of gambling promotions to protect vulnerable communities. The mayors of Gannawarra and Campaspe Shire Councils are demanding fairness from the Murray-Darling Basin Authority ahead of its upcoming plan review. The two leaders are calling for an evidence-based approach, warning that further water recovery targets threaten the economic viability of southern basin communities that have already heavily invested in efficiency measures. Gannawarra Mayor Garner Smith said the viability of our irrigation district is under threat if changes to the basin plan are not made. Melton City Council is seeking expert advice from state authorities regarding the use of crumb rubber infill in synthetic sports pitches. As Melton and Moorabool Star Weekly reported, councillors are requesting updated guidance on potential health and environmental risks. The council aims to establish best practice standards and explore safer, more sustainable alternative materials for future sporting infrastructure. And plans for the Yakandanda Caravan Park have been significantly altered by Indigo Shire Council following a severe flood risk assessment. The council shifted from a proposed 21-year lease to a short-term 3-year arrangement, abandoning redevelopment plans due to escalating climate change risks, according to the Border Mail. State environmental agencies refused to support expanding the site, prompting warnings about changing risk appetites among insurers and regulators. This is your midweek update from the Local Government News Roundup, brought to you by the VLGA, which is partnering with the Australian Institute of Company Directors to deliver the first in a series of webinars focused on the local government sector. Your Role, Your Impact, Essentials for Local Government Councillors will be held on Wednesday the 10th of June from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. It's a free webinar which I'll be hosting along with VLGA President and Monash Councillor Dr Josh Fergus, Deputy Victorian Ombudsman Karen Ellis and ICAC Regional Council Mayor Councillor Kelly Vivi. The session is designed for councillors just starting out in their career or community members who are considering putting their hand up to be a councillor in the future. You can register now at the AICD website. Now on to news out of New South Wales, and a senior Parramatta Council executive has broken down at an ICAC inquiry after admitting she manipulated recruitment processes to secure council jobs for friends and associates. Roxanne Thornton, who rose from Chief Governance and Risk Officer to Group Manager in the Office of the Lord Mayor and CEO, told the Commission she recruited people she already knew because she struggled to trust others and repeatedly maintained then CEO Gail Connolly was unaware. Evidence heard by the inquiry includes claims Thornton provided interview questions and model answers in advance, edited CVs and cover letters, and helped organise a pay increase for a successful candidate. Some witnesses have described their relationships with Thornton as professional, despite text messages shown to the Commission containing affectionate sign-offs. During questioning, Ms Thornton became visibly distressed, saying she'd admitted to everything, describing her 4 days of evidence as a public shaming, before being excused with the possibility she may be recalled later. The Daily Telegraph reported that Thornton told the Commission she undermined the recruitment process out of an overwhelming desire to surround herself with people she trusted, stating bluntly, "I did it because I didn't think I was going to get caught." The federal government has stepped in to fully clear the $4.8 million debt owed by Rex Airlines to regional councils. ABC News reported that 34 local authorities across the country will receive payments, relieving a substantial burden on local ratepayers. New South Wales councils are the primary beneficiaries, receiving nearly $2 million, with Dubbo Regional Council recovering the largest single outstanding sum of nearly $600,000. The bailout follows the acquisition of the regional carrier by US-based aviation group Air T. A prominent Southern Highlands property developer has appeared in a New South Wales local court, pleading not guilty to 3 offences following a confrontation at a community forum. ABC News reported that Theo Onesforo was issued with 2 interim apprehended personal violence orders, restricting his contact with Wyndham Shire Council's mayor and general manager. Police applied for the orders following a year-long pattern of confrontational correspondence regarding local development assessment processes. The matter is due to return to court in November. A regional transport task force has hit out at the lack of infrastructure funding in the latest federal budget. The Sturt Highway Task Force is frustrated that billions are being directed toward renewable energy projects, while the Sturt Highway, a primary freight corridor for delivering wind and solar infrastructure, has received no upgrade funding. The task force warns the emission compromises motorist safety and threatens regional economic efficiency across New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. And powerful swells and large tides have severely eroded the Tweed coastline, leaving pedestrian beach tracks unsafe and cutting deep cliffs into the dunes. Tweed Shire Council says crews are prioritising emergency vehicle access along the 36-kilometre coast, while swimming is strongly discouraged due to dangerous conditions and poor water quality. Also making news, the City of Ryde is warning residents that tree vandalism and poisoning are serious offences, with incidents rising across Sydney. The council says it's investigating damage to a mature eucalyptus in North Ryde and will pursue penalties where evidence allows. Snowy Valleys Council has endorsed a framework to advance its de-amalgamation, aiming for a split by July 2028. The council has announced it will seek up to $5 million in state funding and appoint specialist consultants to review financial sustainability. And Lake Macquarie City Council is marking a major milestone, 120 years since its proclamation as a shire in 1906. The shire's first election was held later that same year. Mayor Adam Schultz says the anniversary is about the future and making Lake Macquarie an even better place for everyone. Support for the local government news roundup comes from Symphony 3, whose smart glue solution helps councils deliver simple, connected customer experiences. Like Ballina Shire Council in New South Wales, they've streamlined and automated their register of payments, delivering a beautiful online experience to citizens and getting a positive return on investment within just 5 weeks. Smart Glue eliminates 30 to 40 minutes of manual labour per payment at Ballina. With over 8,000 payment transactions per annum, the new service eliminates over 5,000 hours of manual labour every year. Visit symphony3.com to learn how Smart Glue can work for you. To Queensland now, and Scenic Rim Regional Council has issued an urgent directive on pet management following a sharp rise in dog attacks on public land. As part of a targeted compliance crackdown, officers have already seized 9 dogs from properties with non-compliant fencing. Under recent legislative amendments, owners face on-the-spot fines of over $830 for failing to control animals in public, while serious offences carry penalties exceeding $112,000. The council has confirmed it will issue mandatory destruction orders for any regulated dogs involved in severe incidents. Plans for a world-class marine maintenance facility in far north Queensland have taken a step forward. The Queensland State Government is providing $300,000 to support Douglas Shire Council's scoping study into the proposed Port Douglas Marine Industry Precinct. The government confirmed the funding aims to drive regional economic diversification and local employment following the recent closure of the Mossman Sugar Mill. North Burnett Regional Council has voted 6-1 to approve a minimum 10% increase to its fees and charges starting July 1. South Burnett Today reported that decision was due to rising operational costs and an expected budget deficit. Southern Downs Council residents are being urged to log on to a new water portal following the installation of 12,000 smart meters across Warwick and Stamthorpe. The online platform allows households to track daily usage and catch hidden leaks early. And leaders from across Queensland have gathered in Longreach for the Local Government Association of Queensland's biennial Bush Councils Convention. More than 150 mayors, councillors and state ministers are meeting to discuss critical regional priorities, including infrastructure, water security and biosecurity. LGAQ says this year's forum focuses on driving collaborative policy and economic opportunities for rural and remote communities. In Tasmania, a bid to double council rates for short-stay visitor accommodation has failed. The Mercury reported that Hobart City Council has voted down a proposal to raise the short-stay differential rate to 400% following a split 5-5 vote. Proponents argued the hike would return properties to the long-term rental market to combat a critical housing shortage, while opposing councillors questioned the fairness and evidence base of the policy. The Tasmanian government is facing backlash over its plans to reduce councillor numbers. As the legislation moves to the Legislative Council, major lobby groups claim they've been denied the opportunity to brief members of Parliament. The Mercury reported that the Planning Matters Alliance and the Tasmanian Conservation Trust argue the reduction of 50 elected seats will severely weaken local democracy and community representation. The government maintains that appropriate public consultation was conducted last year. West Tamar Council says it's disappointed the Tasmanian state budget didn't include funding for a proposed indoor sports facility at Legana. Mayor Christina Holmdale says council had sought a $5 million state commitment to match an existing $5 million federal grant. Council says the fast-growing area needs an indoor venue for sports like basketball and netball, with the broader precinct plan projected to deliver economic benefits and jobs. A string of regional leaders in South Australia have announced they'll step down at November's council elections. Adelaide Now reports Southern Mallee Mayor Ron Valentine is the latest to decline re-election, citing systemic failures and stagnant federal funding. He expressed frustration with a lack of meaningful financial support from both state and federal governments for regional non-growth councils, and said the local government system seems designed to block necessary reform. Mayor Valentine also took aim at key advocacy bodies for failing to represent their interests fairly. Mayors from Ceduna, Mid-Murray and Karoonda have also confirmed they'll be departing this year. Meanwhile, Adelaide Lord Mayor Jane Lomax-Smith has officially confirmed she will seek re-election this year. As reported by The Advertiser, Dr Lomax-Smith said despite earlier intentions to step down, she is standing again to provide leadership and continuity during a period of significant population and economic growth for the city. Voting is scheduled to begin in mid-October, with polls closing on the 11th of November. And to Western Australia, the city of Melville is facing calls for a special electors meeting over a contentious $4.7 million cricket pitch proposal in Leeming. WA Today reported that local advocacy groups have submitted a petition signed by 650 residents. They're demanding the council rescind an April motion to clear over half a hectare of native bushland at John Connell Reserve. Opponents have criticised the unbudgeted project, contributing to a proposed 5% residential rate increase for the upcoming financial year. They say there's been a lack of proper community consultation and feasibility studies. And Cottesloe Council could introduce paid parking in the Cottesloe Village shopping precinct under a new parking strategy, according to Perth Now. A public consultation drew 226 submissions, with opinions split almost evenly for and against paid bays. The proposal includes metered zones and hourly fees, with revenue earmarked for local improvements. Now for some stories of note from overseas, starting in New Zealand, where a major shake-up for southern local government is moving a step closer. The Local Government Commission has agreed to deeply investigate a potential Southland Council merger. RNZ News reports that it comes as the government gives councils a strict 3-month deadline to pitch amalgamation plans. Invercargill Mayor Tom Campbell is already throwing his weight behind a unified One Southland model to cut costs and slash red tape. New Plymouth Mayor Max Bruff is facing criticism after documents showed he worked behind councillors' backs to secure Steve Ruru as interim chief executive. The Post reported that papers reveal weeks of behind-the-scenes talks with outgoing boss Gareth Green and others. Some councillors have described the appointment process as undemocratic. To Spain, where the Mayor of Barcelona, Jaume Collboni, has proposed fast-tracking a plan to double the municipal tourist surcharge for short-stay cruise passengers. Under the new proposals, reported by USA Today, the daily tax for visitors spending less than 12 hours in the city would rise within months from €4 to €8. The long-standing leader of Cotswold District Council in the UK, Joe Harris, has announced his resignation from local government after 15 years of service. First elected at just 18, Harris later became the UK's youngest mayor. He's leaving elected office for a new career with the East West Railway Company. Local Gov reported that a by-election to fill his St Michael's ward vacancy has been scheduled for July. And in Canada, Vancouver City Council has voted to pause and roll back climate bylaws that aim to phase out natural gas heating in buildings. Mayor Ken Sim successfully introduced a motion to lift the ban on gas-powered hot water systems, arguing the change aligns the city's building code with provincial standards and will improve housing affordability. However, critics point to data suggesting households using heat pumps save money annually. CTV News reported that the British Columbia Housing Minister had unsuccessfully requested the vote be delayed for a full cost and impact analysis. And London, Ontario could soon be fining people $300 for leaving pets in vehicles during extreme heat or cold. City staff say the added penalty would strengthen enforcement, even though Ontario's Paws Act already bans leaving an animal in conditions that cause distress. CBC News reported that after a council committee vote, a final decision is expected at the council's June meeting. That's all I have for you today. This was the Local Government News Roundup, episode number 587, recorded on the morning of Wednesday, the 27th of May 2026. If you'd like to know more about any of the stories in today's show, you can head to lgnewsroundup.com, where you'll find all the story links in the transcript. And if you have comments or feedback or story suggestions, you can email me at chris@lgnewsroundup.com. The Roundup is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences, and Rath Engineering Development, smarter local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience. The Local Government News Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening, and bye for now. Support for the Local Government News Roundup comes from Rath Engineering Development, smarter systems for local government, like Red GMS, helping councils manage gravel pits and projects, track quality, test results, blending options and haulage, and know the true cost per tonne from day one. Rath Engineering Development can give you a one-off report that uses your existing pit data to pinpoint the best gravel sources for your next resheeting program or disaster restoration works, saving your council time and money. For local government systems built from real on-the-ground experience, talk to the team at Rath Engineering Development. Head to rathed.com.au to find out more.